on. Come on. So they can hear you as well as they can see you.
Mhm. Thanks.
Thank you.
Morning, ma'am, who just signed on with the glasses. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, with the purple shirt on. I'm sorry, not you, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me? You have glasses and a purple shirt.
Your audio. What's going on? No. She called, but it checked it out.
What is this?
What?
Say your name is changed to Stephanie Smith 1. Hi.
I can help you. What is your name?
She talked to
Stephanie Smith.
Oh, it is? Okay, that's correct.
That's judge.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you hear me? Who just signed on?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. What's your name, please?
Cherie Downey.
I'm sorry, Cherie
Yes,
Downs?
Downey.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Carol Alvin. Did you
I'm
hear me?
sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. What did you say?
My name is Carol Alvin,
How do you spell your last name?
A-L-B like in boy, I-N.
Thank you.
Morning.
Mary Ann, I'm going downstairs. I'll be back ready to start at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Achievement Award. The Actors Guild announcing that Field will be the 58th recipient of the prestigious award for her accomplishments. The 76-year-old has won 2 Oscars and 3 Emmy Awards. Her lengthy career spans from TV's The Flying Nun to the upcoming
Morning, Sue. Sir, who just signed on with the blue sweatshirt. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, what's your name, please?
Christopher Allen.
Allen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's see how. $50. Take that out. See. Including this. Tuesday. And that's what it is. Trust me. Everything. Yeah.
Morning, Mr. Marks.
Morning.
Hi. Do you need to speak with any defendants or are you ready to go?
Let me see. No, I think I'm ready to go. Thank you.
Okay. All right, the judge will be right out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good morning, Mr. Morton. How are you?
Morning.
Mary Ann,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. George and Mr. Marks might need to speak. Mr. George just filed his appearance this morning.
Okay. I will put them in a breakout room. Or Mr. Marks,
Thank you, ma'am.
you're a co-host.
Oh, that's the next floor.
Madam Clerk, can you hear me?
Yep, hi.
Hey, okay. Brief question. We're actually gonna have a second attorney with us today. And I see that there's some unlabeled breakout rooms. Unless there's an objection, I was gonna just have us use one of those.
That's no problem at all. You bet.
Wonderful.
You know.
Good morning. Today is Wednesday, January 18th, 2023. This is courtroom number 1. I am Judge Lisa Martin. Today is the day and time set for landlord-tenant hearings. If you do not have a landlord-tenant case this morning, you may be in the wrong courtroom. Please check your notice. If you need assistance in getting to the right place, you may send a chat message to our staff, and they will try to assist you in getting where you belong. We are going to do things a little differently this morning for the attorneys who have appeared before. What this court will do is try to call the cases in the order in which the defendants arrived this morning. The attorneys can provide the rent arrearage. If the defendants agree, we'll enter it as a judgment on the record. If there is a disagreement as to the balance, the contested hearings will be conducted at the end of the docket, along with acceptance of default judgments. That being the case, the first case that we have is it that Mr. Marks is in the breakout room. Mary Ann, that sounds so good in my head. But we have a case from Mr. Morton. We have 226327. That's Holiday West versus Rodnell Miller. May I have your appearances, please?
Your Honor, for the record, Attorney Ian Morton of Pallets Law on behalf of Holiday West, P67892.
State your name for the record.
Rodnell Miller.
Thank you. Today is the day and time set for the second hearing and this non-payment of rent case. Mr. Morton, what is the rent due to your client?
Your Honor, at this time, rents retained are $838.86. Court costs of $164. We're told $1,002.86. I know Mr. Miller had proposed making multiple payments, but I'll let the court continue on its new process first before I say anything else.
Mr. Miller, is that rental amount of past due rent of $838.86 accurate, sir?
Yes,
Sir, inasmuch as you admit the rent due and owing in this matter, there is not a tribal issue and plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment. Mr. Morton, what was the issue with the payments?
Mr. Miller had proposed, from my understanding, making a payment of, $400 this week and another $400 the following week. So that would leave him about $200 at that point, give or take. So I'd ask if Mr. Miller would be able to bring that balance current under, the statutory time periods, according to my calculations, would give him out to the 30th. So I'd ask him that question.
Mr. Miller, are you able to pay the past due amount by the 30th of this month?
yes, ma'am. The 30th is Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I was gonna actually make the full payment on Thursday, the 24th.
You're
That
gonna
works,
make the
Steve.
third payment, you said?
Yes, the final payment on Thursday, the 24th. I was gonna clear the balance out.
We're actually talking about the 30th of the month, so a little bit more time than that, okay?
Okay, well, that's
I mean, are
fine, but
you
I was
objecting?
gonna clear the
Go
balance.
ahead,
on the
Mr.
20
Miller.
I was gonna clear the balance on the 30th, the 24th. That's when
Mr. Miller.
I can, yes,
But please listen for a second. You have
yes,
10 days. So you're saying you can pay sooner than the 10 days.
yes.
I'm
that's
just saying that it's going to be 10 days.
Okay,
You can pay it earlier. There's no penalty to paying early. The penalty is paying late.
I understand.
Okay. So Mr. Morton's office will submit a judgment that indicates after hearing there's $1,002.86. That's the $838.86 in rent, $164 in court costs. As long as you pay it in its entirety before the 30th of January.
Yes.
Okay.
So do I take that to the rental office or bring it to you guys?
To the rental office, sir.
Okay, I understand. No problem.
Anything else, Mr. Miller?
No,
Have a good day, sir. Thank you.
thank you.
Mary Ann, I need you to do me a favor.
Yes, ma'am.
I need you to call downstairs. I need more blue ROAs for the landlord tenant cases. They didn't send up enough. Civil department, or if one of the officers would be kind enough to grab them, I'd appreciate it.
You got it.
Thank you. Mr. Marks?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. This is 226417 LT. This is Bill Properties versus Stephanie Smith. Have your appearance, please, sir.
Jeremy Marks appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Ms. Smith, state your name for the record.
Stephanie Smith,
Thank you. Mr. Marks, what is the rental amount due to your client?
There's a current balance due and owing of $295.46. Court costs $164.57 for total balance due and owing of $460.03.
Ms. Smith, is this amount accurate?
I feel that it's not,
Ma'am, okay.
yeah,
Then if this matter is contested, Mr. Marks, court will call this a contested matter. We will have a full hearing at the end of the court's docket. If you have a representative from Bill Properties able to go into a breakout room and speak to Ms. Smith, great. Otherwise, we'll take up her hearing at the end of the docket. Do you have somebody here?
I don't think so, Your Honor. If I may, Ms. Smith, what do you contest? So I could just prepare my
Sir,
client.
no, Mr. Marks, you weren't out here before. Here's the problem. What's been happening in this courtroom is that attorneys have gone into the breakout room and been the reason why this docket's been dragging and people are sitting for an hour. Once you put the rental rate, the past due rent on the record, if the defendant contested, we're having the contested hearings at the end of the docket and we take the defaults.
can I say something, ma'am? I want this to be resolved today, but I never.
Ma'am, listen, no. I just said that. I said we are going to the end of the docket. Mr. Marks will have the opportunity to get somebody on from Bill or somebody else from his office who can go into a breakout room and maybe go over the ledger with you. This court right now is trying, hold on. This is just not for you, Ms. Smith. This is for everybody. This court right now is trying to call 45 cases in the next 55 minutes. The contested cases will be heard at the end of the docket. So my question to all of the defendants or tenants in these cases will be, do you agree with the amount of rent? If you agree with the amount of rent, there'll be a judgment entered right now where you will have 10 days to pay. If you contest the balance, that's a hearing that will swear you in and take testimony on after I call every single case on this docket.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Have we seen Mr. Wavery? Take that as a no. This is 226416 LT. This is Bill Properties versus Diamond Bowers Curtis.
Diamond Bowers Curtis.
Good morning, George of Lakeshore Legal Aid on behalf of the defendant.
Jeremy Marks appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Thank you. Mr. Marks, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, we're gonna, I had an opportunity to speak with Mr. George in a breakout room. He is interested in filing an answer and hopefully we can resolve this case. I'd request a brief adjournment, maybe a week, in order to hopefully maybe even resolve the case.
It won't be a week. It'll be a little longer than that. Mary Ann,
Yes.
February 7th, I believe is. We'll put it on with the regular civil docket. Mr. George and Mr. Marks, are you available on February 7th at 11 a.m.?
Fine, Your Honor.
Let me pull up my calendar, Your Honor. February 7th at 11. Yes, I'm available.
Yes. February 7th, 2023 at 11 a.m. back here on Zoom on number 1. Anything else in this matter, Mr. Marks?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. George?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
This is 226259 LT. This is Country Meadows versus Lawrence Schick. May I have your appearances, please?
Lawrence isn't here. Carol Albin is.
Your Honor, for the record, Attorney Ian Morton of Pallets Law on behalf of Country Meadows.
Thank you. And ma'am, where is Mr. Schick?
Mr. Schick couldn't get off of work.
Thank you. Mr. Morton, what's the rent to retain possession?
Your Honor, at this time, rents retained are $1,236, court costs of $198 for a total of $1,434.00.
Ms. Albin, is this an accurate amount of past due rent?
Yes.
Inasmuch as you admit and agree to the amount of rent claim due and owing by the plaintiff, there is not a tribal issue in this case. Therefore, plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment. As previously indicated, statute allows 10 days to pay or move. Ma'am, will you be able to pay this amount within 10 days?
Yes.
Default judgment will enter against Mr. Schick. Ma'am, I understand that he's at work.
I don't even know what the hell is going on.
You gotta wait till the end, and then ask them. Like, wait.
Ms. Smith, what's the problem?
Talk to her.
I'm sorry, for the Albin case, we'll take the judgment as to Ms. Albin and the default as to Mr. Schick. Anything else, Ms. Albin?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day, ma'am.
Thank you,
too.
Your Honor.
I feel that I don't owe all these arrears and rent. I never signed the second lease with Bill Property. Charles signed the lease with Bill Property, not me.
Miss
We just,
Smith, wait a minute. Ms. Smith,
Yes,
I'm asking what the problem is because I'm trying to conduct a docket and I can hear hold on, ma'am. Please don't interrupt me again. I can hear your conversation. I've already indicated to you that the plaintiff's office will get somebody on here. I'll swear everybody in and start taking testimony at the conclusion of my docket. But every time I have to stop to have this kind of conversation, it just slows us down a little bit more, okay?
okay,
I'm with you. I'll call the case. If you have documents that show that there's a different amount due and owing, we will do that momentarily, but I have to get through the cases that are ready to be heard
Okay.
right now, okay?
yes, ma'am.
And the other thing is, I don't know if there's anybody else outside waiting to be, have their case called to use that Zoom room.
Okay.
Could you look out to your left and see if there's anybody sitting in those chairs waiting to come in? Thank you. This is 226263 LT. This is Country Meadows versus Lisa White and Charlie Lashley. Your appearances, please.
Your Honor, for the record, Attorney Ian Morton of Pallets Law on behalf of Country Meadows.
Hi, this is Lisa White. I am here.
Ms. White,
yeah, I don't.
where is Charlie Lashley?
She is at work. She was unable to get off of work.
Mr. Morton, what's the rent to retain possession?
Your Honor, at this time, rents retained are $1,713.03. Court costs of $198 for a total of $1,911.03.
Ms. White, is this an accurate amount of rent due and owing?
Can you tell me that number one more time?
$1,713.03 and then $198 in court costs, which is a total of $1,911.03.
$1,911.03.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Is that an accurate amount of rent, ma'am?
yes,
Okay, ma'am, inasmuch as you acknowledge the amount of rent claim due is accurate, there remains no tribal issue and plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment. Mr. Morton's office will submit a judgment with those dollar amounts. You will have 10 days to pay or move. Understood?
understood. And 10 days would be what date?
The 30th.
Okay, so January 30th,
Yes, ma'am.
$1,911.03 will be paid.
Yes, ma'am. You'll get a copy in the mail. When Mr. Morton's office sends it, the court will sign it and the court staff will mail copies to you, okay?
Okay,
Thank you, Ms. White. Have a good day.
all right, you too. Thank you.
Thank you. This is 226239 LT. This is Huron Estates versus John Leitner and Deborah Leitner. May I have your appearances, please?
Jeremy Marks appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
This is Deborah Leidner.
Leitner. Thank you, Ms. Leitner. And where's John Leitner?
He is at work, unable to get off.
Thank you. Mr. Marks, what's the rent to retain possession?
We have a current amount due and owing of $2,183.16. Court costs $199.14 for a total balance of $2,382.30.
Ma'am, is that the accurate amount of rent due and owing?
It's different than the court gave me last week when I was present. Just in the court costs alone, they told me it was $198. So it's a matter of $1 or something, but yes.
Ma'am, inasmuch as you admit that rent claim due and owing by the plaintiff is accurate, there is no tribal issue and plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment in the amount just placed on the record. It will enter you after, the judgment will enter as to you after hearing and by default to Mr. Leitner.
I have a
Plaintiff's
question.
office will submit, ma'am. What's your question?
My question is, I have a SER submitted, which I just got paperwork back yesterday. That are requesting, because of my new employment, last 30 days of check stubs, and I just submitted those yesterday. So I'm in a wait period on that until they give me a final decision.
Ma'am, the issue, that's an issue of payment. That's the issue of you arranging payments with your landlord. The hearing today is whether or not, to determine whether or not that amount of rent, $2,183.16 is owing to your landlord. And once you acknowledge that amount is accurate, the plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment.
Okay,
If you want to speak to someone about the payment plan or payment arrangements, I believe that the attorney, Mr. Marks, would direct you to speak directly to somebody at the property. Is that accurate, Mr. Marks?
Yes.
okay.
Any other questions, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Thank you so much. You have a good day.
You as well.
Thank you. This is 226419 LT. This is Bill Properties versus Christopher Allen. Mr. Marks, the court notes your appearance. Mr. Allen, state your name for the record, sir.
Christopher Allen.
Thank you. Mr. Marks, what is the rent to retain possession?
We have a current rent to retain of $755 even. Court costs $164.57 for a total balance of $919.57.
Mr. Allen, is that amount of rent due and owing in this matter?
Yes, ma'am.
No dispute, sir?
No.
Inasmuch, Mr. Allen, as you admit and acknowledge that that is the amount of rent due and owing, there's no tribal issue and plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment as requested. Mr. Marks' office will submit a judgment for $755 in past due rent, $164.57 in court costs. There will be a pay or move date of January 30th. Mr. Allen, do you have any questions in this matter?
Oh, no, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. This is 226302 LT. This is Woodside Square versus Charlie Downey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Jackie Snyder Powder on behalf of Mark Wasbury. 82554 is my number.
Mr. Downey, state your name. I'm sorry. Ms. Downey, state your name for the record.
Cherie Downey.
Thank you. Today is the day and time set for the second hearing in this matter. What is the past due rent due in this matter, please?
Your Honor, it is $448 with costs of
448?
Yes, with costs of $164 for a total due of $612.
Ms. Downey, is that the accurate amount of rent that is due and owing in this matter?
I paid $224 yesterday. I just want to put that on record. And so I still owe for the month of January of $224 plus the court fees.
Ms. Snyder, Mr. Wasbury seems to only have 3 cases. So what I'll do is if your other 2 cases are here, I'll call them. Ms. Downey, I'll have you stay put for a second. That 200 and whatever dollars should be easy enough to verify with the client.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ms. Snyder?
Yes, that's wonderful. What was it again? $224.
Say the number, ma'am. Nobody can see that.
I'm sorry, $224.
If Ms. Snyder's 2 other cases are here, Ms. Downey, I'll do those 2 and then we'll circle to give her a chance to check on the 224. I don't want to enter a judgment for an incorrect amount, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Is Heaven McCaskill present?
Yes,
Heaven?
I'm here. I'm
Thank
here.
you. This is 226304 LT, Woodside Square versus Heaven McCaskill.
Your Honor, this is George of Lakeshore Legal Aid. I'm not appearing in this matter, but my colleague Danette McLemore was intending to. I know that she had another hearing in another court at 8:30, and she had just asked me to keep an eye out for this case and asked the court to pass it so that she can have an opportunity to get over here from her other hearing.
George, we do not have appearance from Ms. McLemore, but I will note in the file. And I'll pass the matter. Ms. McCaskill, sit tight until Ms. McLemore is able to get here, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is Tevin Branch present?
Yes.
This is 226307 LT. This is Woodside Square versus Tevin Branch. Ms. Snyder, the court notes your appearance for the record. Ma'am, what is the rent to retain possession in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, the past due rent is $658 with costs of $164 for a total of $822.
Mr. Branch, is that an accurate amount of past due rent, $658?
Yes.
Mr. Branch, in as much as you admit that the amount of rent claim due and owing by the plaintiff is accurate, there is not a tribal issue of fact, and plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment of $658 in past due rent, $164 in court costs for a total of $822. Plaintiff's office will submit a judgment to this court with those dollar amounts with 10 days to pay or move from the property. A copy will be mailed to you at the address on file with the court. Any questions, Mr. Branch?
No.
Anything else in this matter, Ms. Snyder?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Branch, you're free to go. That was the only 3 cases for that property, ma'am. If you want to take a minute and check on that 224
Yes,
and
sir.
wait for Ms. McLemore to appear. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is 226183 LT. This is Rawsonville Woods versus Tawny Bastel. Mr. Morton, the court notes your appearance. Ma'am, state your name for the record.
Tawny Vestal.
Mr. Morton, what is the rent to retain possession in this matter?
Your Honor, the rents retained are $4,080.10, court costs of $164 for a total of $4,244.10.
Ma'am, is the amount of rent claim due and owing by the plaintiff's attorney accurate?
It is, Your Honor. I am dealing with cancer right now, and I actually have a foundation that took on my situation, and they actually gave me a grant to help pay for my rent. They're paying for my past due, my January and my February's rent. I got approved for a grant to help pay for my rent. As of January 9th, they approved me, and they said within 10 to 14 days, they were gonna mail Rawsonville Woods a check. And so that was of January 9th. And so they should be receiving payment for my past due January and February's rent. I did let Misty Fellers know what was going on via email.
Mr. Morton, based on the comments just made by Ms. Vestal, how long will your client allow for payment to be received from this grant?
Your Honor, was it, for my calculation, first of all, it seems like if she got approved on the 9th, the 14 days would be the 23rd. We can give it out to the end of the month clearly, because that way another month won't come due. I mean, if the court would like to be able to put a no writ without hearing on this specific case based on this specific circumstance, we would understand that decision.
So you're not willing to go beyond the 30th? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, I said we could go to the 31st, but I know, I was going to say, Your Honor, based on her calculation though, since she got the approval on the 9th in 14 days, that would take it to the Monday. I'm sorry, the 23rd, but the statutory time period is the 30th. And then again, Your Honor, if the court would like to put the no writ without hearing based on was it Vestal circumstances, we would understand that.
Ms. Vestal, were you able to hear what the attorney just said?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Do you understand what he's saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So what we'll do is we'll enter a judgment as indicated, the $4,080.10 in past due rent, the $164 in court costs. Mr. Morton will mark up the judgment to indicate that you have until the 31st to pay that amount. So the receipt of the funds from the grant, he'll also indicate on the judgment that there will be no writ without a hearing, which means his office would have to file a request for writ. This court would schedule it for hearing, and they would have to indicate to the court what payments have been made. So if for some reason there's a delay in the grant being received, and payments are made, we still will have you come back before any additional steps are taken in this case, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Moore's office will get that judgment submitted. The court will sign it, and a copy will be mailed to you at the address we have on file, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. Have a good day, ma'am.
You too.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Mary,
This is
too. Yeah.
Thank you.
226097 LT. This is Shayna White versus Jesse Smith.
I'm present. Shayna White.
Jesse Smith,
Yvonne Davis for Jesse Smith.
where is Jesse Smith?
I don't know. Jesse Smith is, I'm his legal guardian though.
That, my question is, where's Jesse Smith?
He's probably inside the apartment, yeah. Yeah.
Ms. Davis, here's the issue. Are you a licensed attorney in the state of Michigan?
No, I'm not, Your Honor.
Okay, then we need Mr. Smith on. If you have a way to get a hold of him and get him logged in, we'll circle back to the case.
Hold on one second. Miss Shayna, can you get Mr. Jesse?
Yeah, I'll go back. I'll go over there.
Ms. White, is there still rent due and owing in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then the three of you go into a breakout room, and when you come back, talk for a minute and see if you're able to come up with a resolution. When you come back out, I'll recall the case.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. This is 226327 LT. This is Holiday West versus Justice Dawkins. May I have your appearances, please?
I'm here.
Your Honor, for the record, Attorney Ian Morton of Pass Law on behalf of Holiday West.
State your name, ma'am.
Justice Dawkins.
Thank you. Today is the day and time set for the second hearing on this matter. Mr. Morton, what is the rent to retain possession in this case?
Your Honor, at this time, rents retained are $3,463.45. Court costs of $164 for a total of $3,627.45.
Ms. Dawkins, is that amount of rent $3,463.45 due and owing to your landlord right now?
Yes, but I moved out, so I have pictures to like prove.
You want it dismissed?
I was hoping to get it dismissed.
Because you moved out?
Yeah, I moved out yesterday.
Did you turn the keys into the property?
No, the problem was that I lost the keys yesterday and I was going through it yesterday. So I tried to get in, get my keys, but I couldn't.
Ms. Dawkins, if the rent is due and owing, the rent is due and owing, you vacating the property might be the reason why February rent is not charged when it comes due. But if you're saying to the court and acknowledging that that is the amount, $3,463.45 was what was due and owing, then the plaintiff would be entitled to entry of judgment. Mr. Morton, is there something some light you'd like to shine on this matter?
Your Honor, we do have Ms. Fontanelle, another attorney from my office. If you could put those two into a breakout room, maybe get some clarification about the fact that she moved out, we can maybe confirm that and get this thing done so my client can also take possession. So yeah, like I said, she and Ms. Fontanelle can speak in a breakout room if the court be open to that.
Mary Ann will get you moved into a breakout room. Ms. Snyder, were you able to confirm the balance due or payment of the 224?
I was, Your Honor.
This is a recall of 226302 LT Woodside versus Downey. The court has the appearances. Ma'am, you confirmed the 224 being paid yesterday?
Yes, Your Honor.
So 224 is what remains due and owing plus 164 in court costs?
Yes, Your Honor. So that should be a
Ms.
balance of
Downey?
388.
I'm sorry.
I was just saying that should be a balance of 388.
Ms. Downey, will you be able to pay that amount within the next 10 days?
I will be able to pay the 224. It might take me just a minute for the 164 for the court fees. I haven't been working much. I'm in retail, and in January, they don't give us no hours. And I'm just relying also, not to say, but counting on taxes too, to catch me all up again.
Ms. Downey, payments is payments are something that you work out directly with the apartment or the property. This court's only responsible for entering a judgment that confirms the amount of rent that is past due and owing, okay? If that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yes, ma'am. So would the court fees go to the apartment? Or do I would
Yes.
send them to? Okay,
They go to the apartment.
okay, ma'am.
Anything else, Ms. Downey?
No, ma'am.
Have a good day. Good to see you.
Thank you. Sure.
Good morning, Pravanchi. How can I help you?
Good morning, Your Honor. By chance, do you have a Myron Stanley for a warrant, an arraignment? Myron Stanley?
I am not arraignments today.
Is Judge Hinman, the magistrate, going to be doing them, or Judge Oakley?
I don't even have the docket. Mary Ann, who's arraignments this morning?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Mary Ann.
Hi, it's Magistrate Hinman.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Your
Thank
Honor,
you,
you and your
sir.
staff have a wonderful day.
You too, thank you. Ms. Smith, was there somebody else waiting to use the Zoom room?
Good morning, Your Honor. It's Miguel Perez.
Mr. Perez, I'm getting to you momentarily. Do you need to be heard right now?
Well, I'm in the hospital and they're about to take me for a CAT scan again. And
Then, Mr. Perez, what we'll do, let me find the file. Is there somebody else on the case with you?
Basically my wife, when I talked to the attorney for Country Meadows, Miss Sidney, and I
Your Honor,
Thank you.
Your Honor, I can give you the case number if you'd like it.
Absolutely.
It is case number 22-6250LT. It's listed under
Thank you.
Sabrina Perez, if I'm not mistaken.
Where is
That's
Sabrina
my wife.
Perez?
It's my
Okay.
wife. I'm in the hospital right now.
I know,
Yeah.
sir, and that's why I'm gonna let you go, but where's Miss Perez?
She's home, but she doesn't have she has an old phone and she doesn't have Zoom on her. She's not able to Zoom. So I spoke to Sydney and I said if I could make a payment arrangement with her, because I talked to the manager of Country Meadows and he told me I have to talk to Sydney, their lawyer. And I said to her that I could give her $1,000 on the 30th of the month. And then if I could make a payment arrangement, I'll finish the payment by the end of February. And I'll bring the rent to basically current. We've been living there for a while and my wife, she has multiple sclerosis and she can't work. And my daughter, she got autism. So
Mr. Perez, I'm sorry, Mr. Morton, do you have any objection to the court putting this matter over?
Your Honor, I understand that the court wants to put this matter. I mean, I see, I believe it's Ms. Perez clearly in a hospital bed. So I can understand that. And I will say, and
Mr.
just for the record, Your
Perez,
Honor.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I was just going to add, Your Honor, I can say that my office has been having ongoing communications with my client and then getting information on proposed payment potential with the Perez's as well.
Mr. Perez, the court will put this matter over to our February 7th at 11 a.m. Notice we've been out to Ms. Perez. She needs to either come into, oh, no, you know what?
hopefully
Sorry
I'm
about
home by
that.
then, Your
No,
Honor.
Mr. Perez, I'm sorry. I'm going to let you go have your procedure. We're adjourning this matter, not let you, but I'm going to stop talking to you so you can go do what you need to do in the hospital. February 7th at 11 a.m. Notice will be mailed to the address that the court has on record. And Mr. Morton's client can have conversation about payment plan. Maybe we'll have it worked out by that point, okay?
Your Honor, would the court have an objection if we entered that agreement since it would be the third hearing without having to attend the hearing?
The court would have no objection.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Perez, for your patience this morning, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mary Ann, you're doing a good job keeping up with those numbers. Kelvin Jones.
Yes, Your Honor. Calvin Jones.
This is 2264180T. This is Bill Properties versus Jones.
Jeremy Marks appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Mr. Marks, what is the rent to retain possession in this case?
There's current rent to retain of $1,092.06. Court costs $164.57 for a total of $1,256.63.
Mr. Jones, is there a back rent due of owing of $1,092.06?
Yeah.
Sir, inasmuch as you acknowledge that that is a valid amount of rent past due and owing in this matter, there's not a triable issue of fact and plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment as requested. They're also entitled to entry of court costs of $164.57. Mr. Marks' office will submit a judgment to this court with those dollar amounts on it, which allows you 10 days to pay or move. Any
Okay.
questions, Mr. Jones?
Yes, I do. Right now, I have a head injury. I'm not working. I'm getting unemployment, but it covers my rent. So next month, I'm gonna be going through the same thing. I'm just waiting for my second unemployment check now, and I'm gonna pay them their money. And the same thing's gonna happen next month. The month after that, I might be caught up to where the rent get paid on time. But it's gonna be late next month. I don't want the extra $160 added on it to it. Is it possible that I can get that way? So, because I'm gonna be late next month too. They're gonna be paid by next week, that what I owe right now. And then by the 5th, I'm not gonna have the whole rent. I'm only probably have half of it. So,
Mr. Jones, I hate to cut you off, but I'm sure you've heard me indicate to other people that payment plans are something that are worked out between you and your property management. The attorneys don't typically get involved in that and the courts don't. If you're talking about a long term, it sounds like this is going to be something that's going to continue to be an issue.
oh, just one more month. I'll be back to work after the next month. So one check will be the whole rent. I can pay the rent in one check, not having to use unemployment, which is half of my work check. But I'll be laid off for a month because of medical reasons. But
Mr. Marks,
Bye.
anything?
by
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Is there anything you need to add in this matter? Or is
No,
there
I will
anything you need
submit,
to
I will
respond
submit
to?
the judgment per the court order, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jones, what the court would suggest is that you stay in communication with your property management, whoever's there on site.
okay. Thank you.
Have a good day, sir. Good luck to you.
Yes.
This is 2262580T. This is Country Meadows versus Gary Gordeau, Deborah Gordeau, and Tammy Gordeau. May I have your appearance, please?
Your Honor, for the record, Attorney Ian Morton of Palace Law on behalf of Country Meadows.
Oh, I got. Hello,
Hello, your name, sir?
Gary Gordo.
Where are Deborah and Tammy Gordeau, sir?
Tammy moved out. She's my daughter, and my wife's sick right now.
Mr. Morton, what is the rent to retain possession, sir?
You're at this time, rents retained are $1,116.74. Court costs of $232 for a total of $1,348.74. That includes the month of January.
Thank you. Mr. Gordeau, is there rent past due and owing of $1,116.74?
Yes.
Sir, inasmuch as you admit and acknowledge that that is the rent past due and owing, there is not a tribal issue of fact, and plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment in that amount. Mr. Morton's office will submit a judgment to the court with those dollar amounts and the court costs on it. It will indicate that you have 10 days to pay or move from that address. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, I don't.
Thank you, Mr. Gordeau. Thank you for your patience this morning. Have a good day.
You too, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. McLemore, have you and Ms. Snyder had an opportunity to talk this morning about McCaskill?
I have not spoken to Ms. Schneider. I did speak to my client. If I could speak with Ms. Schneider, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll get you moved into a breakout room.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rambus.
Yes, ma'am.
Rambus, I'm just trying to find the case number.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may, that is case number
Absolutely, sir.
22. I'm sorry?
I said absolutely.
Case number 226219 LT, if it's Janine Rambus at Green Meadows.
Oh, it's the 10 o'clock case.
Oh,
This is 226219 LT. This is Green Meadows versus Rambus. Mr. Morton, the court notes your appearance for the record. Ma'am, state your name for the record.
Janine Rambus.
Mr. Morton, what is the rent to retain possession in this case?
Your Honor, at this time, rents retained are $5,341.34. Court costs of $164 for a total of $5,505.34. According to my records, just for the court's reference, I believe this is the third hearing, as the defendant asked for an opportunity to be able to speak with legal aid at the last one, and it was adjourned, and they didn't have a dispute in regards to the balance at that time. I don't believe we've been contacted by legal aid either.
Thank you. We did adjourn this case from January 11th to allow Ms. Rambus time to speak with the attorney, with an attorney. Ma'am, have you been able to be in
I haven't
communication
actually
with?
spoke with legal aid, but I did the SCR with DHS. I still actually need to speak with somebody from legal aid. I can't get in contact with anybody.
Ma'am, the question will be the same as it was last week. Is the amount of rent claim due and owing in this matter accurate, that being $5,341?
I believe so, yes.
Ma'am, the court would not deny you the right to speak to an attorney. Ms. McLemore is here from Lakeshore. I don't know if she's positioned to do intake right now. She's in the breakout room with another attorney. If you sit tight after we recall the other case she's here on, we'll get you matched up with her. She's able to assist you, great. Otherwise, the court will be prepared to enter judgment for the plaintiff in this matter.
Okay.
Sit tight for me, ma'am. Thank you. Sherlyn Smith. This is these are 10 o'clock cases. That's a 10 o'clock case. Two 6257 LT Country Meadows versus Aaron Prather and Cassandra McDonald. May I have your appearances?
Your Honor,
Hello,
for the
Your Honor.
record,
Sorry. Go ahead.
Your Honor, Attorney Ian Morton of Palace Law on behalf of Country Meadows.
Aaron Prather.
And Mr. Prather, where is Cassandra McDonald?
I moved out in October and I haven't been in contact with her much since then. She refused to move out. So I think she's still living there. I don't know why she's not here.
Case was scheduled at 9 o'clock. It's now 9:45 by the court's clock. Cassandra McDonald will be deemed in default. Mr. Morton, the rent to retain possession.
Your Honor, at this time, rents retained are $4,789.56. Court costs of $198 for a total of $4,987.56.
Thank you. Mr. Prather, when did you move from the property?
I was arrested on October 16th for domestic violence. I moved out the next day, so October 17th. I presented her with a paper that Country Meadows told me she could sign and we could move out. I already moved out, but she had to move out and they would re-rent the place, but she wouldn't do that. So she's been living there and now I owe $5,000.
Mr. Morton, do you have any information regarding this matter?
Your Honor, I know from the notes that my client had been trying to have some communication to be able to get possession turned over, but they don't have possession back. I will state for the record, this is a possession only action too, not a money judgment case. So any action to collect any of these balances after they receive possession would be a separate, cause, and this would not be a money judgment today.
Mr. Prather, do you understand the statements the attorney just made?
Yes, I was hoping to ask a question, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe you could judge also that we were both due for like half of the judgment instead of like just one of us being due for 5,000.
Mr. Prather, unless there's some signed document that indicates a split like that, the lease is usually joint and several, which means that everybody's responsible for everything. If you and Miss
I was paying for everything. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I understand. No, you're fine. I understand that, sir, but the problem is it's not, I don't know whose noise it is. The court can't say half because there's two people. Because when you sign the lease, you promise to pay, you both promise to pay everything. If you as roommates or partners or whatever negotiate something different, that's something that the court doesn't get involved in, and that's something that the property doesn't get involved in. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I agreed to the 4,900.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Morton's office will submit a judgment that shows that amount plus the 198 in court costs. It'll say that it needs to be paid or moved within 10 days. Mr. Morton was accurate in stating that this is possession only judgment, so collections of the past due rent, should it come to that, is a different conversation with a different court on a different day. Okay, sir?
Yeah, I'm already moved out, so is there a way to get her to move out now that we've gone to court? Because I can't get her to move out myself.
The plaintiff will be able to have Ms. McDonald move out if she doesn't pay the amount of rent due and owing, sir.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, will they be in contact with me also about that?
You'll get a copy of the judgment from today. And if there's any other action, any other filing with the court, plaintiff's office will serve you a copy of it as well. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Any other
Thanks.
questions, Mr. Prather?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Are we ready on McCaskill?
Yes, Your Honor.
226304 LT Woodside versus McCaskill. The court notes everyone's appearance this morning. Ms. McLemore, how are we proceeding in this matter?
Your Honor, I did have an opportunity to speak to opposing counsel, and we've agreed to adjourn this matter. I believe that there was some issue regarding Ms. McCaskill's certification or having it adjusted for changes in her income for her subsidized housing. And so we have agreed to adjourn this matter, Your Honor. And I will be filing a formal appearance, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. McLemore, the court's been using February 7th at 11 a.m. That's our general civil date.
That's fine with me, Your Honor.
That's fine with us as well, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Ms. McLemore?
That's fine. That date is fine with me.
I'm
That
sorry,
date is-
my secretary just lost audio, so I'm out here flying solo right now. We'll do that by Zoom. So I'll see you back here on February 7th. But Ms. McLemore, I'm sorry, anything else in this case, Ms. Snyder?
No, Your Honor, not at this time.
Thank you. Ms. McLemore, we have somebody here. This is the third hearing on a Janine Rambis. She's been trying to get a hold of somebody from legal services, has been unable. There's a past due rent of 5341. It's a case with Pallett's Law Firm. Are you able to speak to her, or are you able to put her immediately in contact with someone who may be able to be of assistance this morning?
If you're gonna put me in a breakout room, we are doing intake. We're doing, we're on the docket for the regular intake right now. But I can certainly speak with her if I can be put into a
Ms. McLemore, I'm gonna have you go back to number 10. Ms. Rambis, you're gonna see an invitation to go into the breakout room to speak to the attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mary Ann?
Excuse me, I have a quick question.
Ms. McCaskill, you're screaming out in the courtroom for a reason?
I was just saying I have a question. I've been saying this since the beginning, but.
What's your question, ma'am?
So am I supposed to leave or stay?
Yes,
or-
ma'am.
I'm
No, ma'am, you're
confused on what's going on.
supposed to leave. Your attorney just came out and asked for this case to be adjourned. The case is adjourned to February 7th at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. Cassandra McDonald?
Yes.
Ma'am, your case was scheduled at 9 o'clock. It was called at 9:45.
Okay, a week ago when I was on this case, they didn't ask me any questions. I'm just the second person on the trade on the house. So they just talked to like the number one person.
Ms.
Like-
McDonald, turn your video on. This is a recall of 226257 LT. Ma'am, as I was indicating, the court has already called the case. Mr. Prather was here. Mr. Morton placed on the record that there's $4,789.56 in rent owing and $198 in cost. You admit that there's $4,789.56 in rent due and owing.
He takes care of rent, but I do admit that that's probably what it's at. I didn't know he wasn't paying.
Ma'am, inasmuch as you admit that the amount of rent claim due and owing by the plaintiff is accurate, there's not a tribal issue of fact, and plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment. Previously, the court was going to enter it by default. It will be entered after hearing. You will have 10 days to pay or move.
I have 10 days to pay or move.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm pretty sure I have 30 days from the court date, or at least 30
No,
days.
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Where'd you get 30 days from, ma'am?
The laws in Michigan
What law would that be, ma'am?
that everyone has 30 days. That's how it goes. The law in Michigan, I looked it up.
Ma'am, that's on a termination of tenancy. This is not a termination of your tenancy. This is a non-payment of rent case.
Okay. I haven't
else?
a 4-month-old infant here. There's no way that we can maybe make it 30 days. So I have time to move all my stuff.
Mr. Morton?
Your Honor, at this time, there's a large balance due. There doesn't seem like there's any anticipation of any payment that's been received. Your Honor, at this time, my client is not giving me any authority, and I'm not seeing any proposed resolution that's going to want them to move anything less than 10 days.
Okay, Ms. McDonald, it'll be 10 days to pay or move. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
This is a recall of 226097. This is Shayna White versus Jesse Smith. The parties have been in the breakout. Is there any resolution?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you resolved this case?
Jesse Smith is on the call with Ms. Shayna White.
Yes, he is, and he's admitted to the default amount.
I'm sorry, Miss White, what's the rent due and owing?
2110, $2,110, including the court fee.
And what, break it out for me, please.
So there is $2,000 even, and then $110 in court costs.
Miss Davis, is that accurate amount?
Yes, ma'am.
The court will enter a judgment that shows $2,000 in rent and $110 in court costs. Miss White, get that judgment submitted to the court for entry, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else in this matter, Miss White?
No, ma'am.
Well, hold on.
Anything-
I was just
We did apply for an SCR, ma'am. Your Honor,
You applied for what, ma'am?
a SCR for Mr. Jesse.
And when did you do that?
I applied for it on Friday, Your Honor.
Miss Smith, Miss White, based on that, are you allowing additional time for that application to be processed and payment to be received?
Yes, ma'am.
How long will you allow?
If you take about 2 weeks, I can allow for that.
Submit your judgment reflecting that, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Can I just take that to
Anything
the court
else?
saying that I'm allowing?
Yes,
for
ma'am.
them? Do I just take that to the court and tell them that I'm allowing for the SCR to be processed?
I'm sorry?
I was asking you, how do I submit that to the court? Do I just take it to the court and tell them that I am allowing time for the SCR to be processed?
You have to fill out the form, ma'am, and submit it. You can email it to the court or you can physically file it with here in person with the court, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
You as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is 2262280T. This is Bill Properties versus Shaquanique Johnson and Tasha Johnson.
Jeremy Marks appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Johnson,
Yes, ma'am.
state your name for me, please.
Tasha Johnson.
And Ms. Johnson, do you know where the other defendant is in this matter?
My daughter, she's here because they said she had to be here for court.
So would you have her just state her name for the record?
Shaquanique Johnson.
Thank you. Mr. Marks, what's the rent to retain?
Mr. Current rent to retain of $7,429.18. Court costs $199.14 for a total of $7,628.32.
Thank you. Ms. Curcio, I keep muting you. I see you there, but I keep muting you because I can't hear over whatever you have going on in the background. So please don't unmute yourself again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ms. Johnson, is the $7,429.18 an accurate amount of rent due and owing?
No, I didn't think so. I had spoken to Dante through months back. I haven't heard from him. And on top of that, my daughter had been moved out of here since June. Dante, she talked to him. He was supposed to remove her from the lease. We didn't know she was still on the lease till they sent me court papers. I've been here by myself with my daughter. I've been sick all year. I'm just going back to work a couple of weeks ago. I filed my taxes. I put in for SCR.
Ms. Johnson, Ms. Johnson, if you dispute the amount of rent that's due and owing, we'll have an actual hearing in this case where somebody from Bill Properties will be here. We'll swear them in and we'll take testimony regarding the past due rent. That will happen this morning, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Marks, have you had someone appear from Bill Properties, or is there someone available to go over the ledger with Ms. Johnson, just as Ms. Smith is waiting for the same thing?
Yes, my client, Chandler Kennedy from Beal Properties has logged in.
Mary Ann will get them moved into a breakout room and they can, this is both first Ms. Smith and then Ms. Johnson, so they can go over these past due amounts. We get done with the 10 o'clock docket. We'll recall these cases and conduct the hearings this morning.
You want just my client with them, Your Honor, and you want me to stay here, you're saying?
I would like you to stay here so we can hopefully get finished.
Okay.
Thank you. Spencer, Paula Spencer.
Miss Kennedy, if you could join the breakout room, please.
Paula Spencer. Unmute yourself, ma'am, please. Marianne, I need you to give me back, please, co-host, or you can unmute Miss Spencer.
I think I'm here now.
State your name for me, ma'am.
Paula Spencer.
And Miss Spencer, what case are you here for?
I'm facing an eviction against the Barringtons.
I don't see Miss Spencer on the docket this morning, Marianne. Do you see it and I'm just not seeing it?
I will check.
They said Baker, who was that?
She's talking to the other lady there.
Miss Spencer,
Yes, ma'am.
if your case number is 226170, do you have a copy of the court notice with you?
Not for this day. When I was supposed to be there on the 4th, I zoomed in late on the 4th, and they gave me this new Zoom number.
Miss Spencer, I'm looking at the only case that we have for you, and default judgment entered back on January 4th. You are not on this court's docket for this morning.
That when I talked to the lady, when I did go on the Zoom on the 4th, I was late because I didn't know how to do it. She gave me the 18th at 9 o'clock with this new number.
Miss Spencer, I'm going to
Yes,
have you
ma'am.
go on. Marianne, would you go into a breakout room with Miss Spencer, confirm her case number and get a phone number for her? Civil department's going to have to follow with you, ma'am, because I don't have
Okay.
your file this morning, so I cannot handle your case. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
This is 2262350T. This is Huron Estates versus Curcio.
Jeremy Marks appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Ma'am, I'm gonna have you unmute yourself and state your name.
I got it. Victoria Curcio.
Mr. Marks, what's the rent to retain possession?
Current rent to retain of $2,235. Court costs $164.57 for a total balance of $2,399.57.
Ms. Curcio, is there $2,235 in rent due and owing?
Yes.
Ma'am, in as much as you admit and acknowledge that that is the past due rent in this matter, judgment will enter in favor of plaintiff with that amount plus $164.57 in court costs. You will have 10 days to pay or move from this property. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I had an appointment.
Ma'am? Ms. Curcio, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, that's not my baby crying. I'm in my car. I had an appointment from so far.
Ma'am, Ms. Curcio, I understand that you're in the car, but I can't hear you.
I don't understand. Hang on. I apologize, guys. Can you hear me? I got things off.
Yes.
Okay, I filed an appointment. As of right now, I have an appointment for February.
Ms. Curcio, I'm not sure what's going on, but I can't hear what you're saying.
I don't know neither. I've been sitting for an hour.
Ma'am?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Ms. Curcio, talk directly into the phone, please.
I need my in front of me. I said, can you hear me? Oh,
Ma'am, you're breaking up, so I can't hear you. I heard you that you applied for something, but I can't hear what you're saying.
okay. I applied for my taxes. My tax H&R Block.
Okay.
It's set for February 6th. the amount that I get on my advance will cover my rent. I can't, not no more.
Ms. Curcio, I cannot hear you. I would encourage you to leave this Zoom and just log back in, okay?
All right, I will do that.
Thank you. This is 226324LT. This is Holiday West versus Dawkins.
Your Honor, for the record, Attorney Ian Morton of Palace Law on behalf of Holiday West.
Did you say justice?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Justice Dawkins.
Thank you. This was a recall?
Yeah.
How
Your
are we
Honor,
proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, if I could let Ms. Fontanella speak on this one, I believe she had a chance to speak with Ms. Dawkins because Ms. Dawkins advised that she had vacated.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sydney Fontanella, P86316 for the plaintiff. I did have a chance to speak with Ms. Dawkins. She did confirm that she vacated. We are going to proceed to dismiss this case and just put in the further orders that she releases any and all interest in the property.
Ms. Dawkins, is that accurate?
Yes.
Plaintiff's office will submit a dismissal which indicates that the court will sign it and copies will be mailed to you at your address, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Dawkins?
Nope. Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. The parties are back out on Johnson. Was there some resolution of this matter? 2262280T Bill versus Johnson.
I was waiting to be let in the, I guess what you call a breakout room.
Did you speak to Ms. McLemore?
No, I haven't spoke to no one. I just been
Oh, I'm
sitting
sorry,
here.
not Ms. McLemore. I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson. You were going in to speak to somebody about a balance.
Yes, ma'am.
Did that happen?
No, ma'am. I've been sitting here waiting.
Mary Ann?
When they call me back.
My client, Chandler Kennedy, would be happy to speak with Ms. Johnson about the balance if need be.
Thank you. Mary Ann, if you will get Ms. Tasha Johnson and Chandler Kennedy into a breakout, please. 226235 Huron Estates versus Curcio. Ms. Curcio, let's see if your audio is better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. You were saying that you applied for.
Okay, I got an appointment with my tax lady for February 6th. If somebody cancels, I can go in earlier. Once I file my taxes, I can pay the full amount. I don't have anybody to ask for help. There's just nothing I can do but wait for my taxes. If they can wait for me, like I said, I can be down there February 6th that evening with the money that they want.
Mr. Marks, any comment?
I have 700 right now that I have. I forgot. I have 700 right now, but the rest of the money I can get by February 6th.
Your Honor, I don't have any settlement authority. But my client, Mr. Koss from Huron Estates is here. Mr. Koss, would you be willing to extend the judgment writ date, or would you like to move forward with the statutory period, which would end on January 30th?
I could extend it to February 6th.
Yes, I did file with ERAP. I've tried for assistance, but I just keep getting I'm running out of time with these people. So like I said, the only for sure thing that I do have is my taxes, and that is February 6th.
Your Honor,
When
with
did you
leave of the
apply for
court.
ERAP? I'm sorry.
This is my second or third eviction in the last 4 months. So the first time I got evicted, I tried to get help and I have had no luck with it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Marks, you were starting to say?
I just said with leave of the court, I can amend the pay or move out date to February 6, 2023, but leave the appeal date the same as January 30th if with leave of the court.
Ms. Curcio, is that acceptable? Is that acceptable to you?
What does that mean technically? Am I okay till February 6th?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, whatever I got, as long as I'm good till February 6th, I'll have whatever they needed. I got it.
Mr. Marks will submit a judgment with that date on it, okay?
Okay, now do they want the 700 that I have now?
Yes,
Okay, so I'll bring you 700 today and then the remaining balance February 6th.
correct.
Okay,
Thank
not
you,
a
Mr.
problem. I'll
Cost.
be seeing you soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'll keep that as a
Ms.
hearing,
Johnson?
I'm sorry, I'll just keep that as a hearing judgment, but I'll change the date. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ms. Curcio, you're free to go.
All right, thank you, guys. Have a great day.
You too. I still see Ms. Kennedy in here. Ms. Smith and Ms. Kennedy, Marianne, where is? Ms. Kennedy, would you please go into room 12? Ms. Johnson's there waiting for you.
Yes, I will head over there now. It's
Oh, I'm sorry,
Mr. Kennedy. No
Mr.
problem.
Mr. Kennedy, my apologies.
Heading over there now,
Ms.
no problem.
Rambis,
Yes,
ma'am, did you have an opportunity to speak to the attorney?
I did.
Okay,
So I'm gonna apply with Wayne Metro as well.
hold on one second. 226-219, Mr. Morton, Ms. Rambis, did Ms. McLemore come back? So I'm sorry, Ms. Rambis, have you actually applied for financial assistance?
I did with the state of Michigan. I did a SCR with DHS.
You just said Wayne Metro.
No, Ms. McLemore suggested that I apply with Wayne Metro. But I did an actual application with DHS. And I have to get them my
Mr.
check
Morton.
stubs and stuff.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your position?
Your Honor, at this time, was it, I think, when we first called this hearing, there was no objection in regards to balance due. I know I do have my client present, if there's any questions about that balance, but at this time, my client, unless they have something else to add, wants to move forward to seek the judgment today.
Ms. Rambis, we adjourned this case previously to allow you an opportunity to contact legal services. Although this case has been, your first notice in this case was back in November 7th of 2022. You had not previously contacted an attorney. You had not applied for SARA or SARA-related funding with the past due rent. What is your defense to this matter at this time?
I'm just asking for as much time as I can get, just to come up with the money. I don't know.
Ma'am, by statute, that's 10 days. Mr. Morton, is your client, are you authorized to allow more than 10 days to pay in this matter?
I believe we have a representative of Green Meadows present today.
Yes, I am present. This is the community manager.
And was it at this time, you wish to move forward to seek the entry of the judgment with the 10 statutory days?
Correct.
Ms. Rambis, that the court will enter a judgment in that amount. You acknowledge that the rent claim due is an accurate amount. If there's some other development in the case, the court will consider, but at this time, the plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment as requested.
Okay. So
Anything
basically,
else, ma'am?
I got 10 days to either pay or move out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Have a good day.
You as
Ms.
well.
Cooper, what are you here for, please, ma'am?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm here for Park Estates MHC versus Daryl Tybalt. Do you need the
Have you
case
seen,
file?
I haven't seen your client this morning.
He isn't here. We are submitting a conditional dismissal.
This is 2261250T. This is Park Estates versus Thibault. Is the consent, I'm sorry, is the conditional dismissal submitted, or are you still working out the terms?
I believe we submitted it this morning at 9:45.
Mr. Marks, I have not seen it yet, but I'll make a notation on the ROA that it is forthcoming.
Yeah, a colleague of mine in my office negotiated this, so I can confirm with him that it was submitted unless Ms. Cooper, did you submit it?
Yes, I did.
apologize. Oh, okay.
Signed with his permission.
Okay.
It just hasn't come upstairs yet, but when I see it, I'll sign it. Anything else, Ms. Cooper?
No, Your Honor, that's all.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you as well. And thank you, Mr. Marks. You guys have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
You too.
Miss Smith, Miss Sherilyn Smith.
Yes, Your Honor.
226124 LT Park Estates versus Sherilyn Smith. This case was adjourned previously for the plaintiff to confirm the balance.
Yes, ma'am.
Jeremy Marks appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, Your Honor. My client has confirmed the balance. My client, Kim Kobish from Park Estates, is here. And she can confirm on the record if necessary the balance due and owing. I'd be happy to take I guess I'll just provide the rent to retain. The rent to retain is $2,338.16. Court costs $153.57 for a total balance of $2,491.73.
So how many months is this for?
Ms. Smith, are you disputing that there's $2,338.16 in rent due and owing?
Well, on the paper, it says I owe $1,100. Uh-oh.
On what paper, ma'am?
On the summons.
The summons from November, so yes, 2 more months of rent would have come due and owing.
Right, and that'd be $585. That's
Ms. Smith,
yes.
if you're disputing the balance, we can get you into a breakout room. You can go over it with the representative from Park Estates. Otherwise, this
please,
court
ma'am.
only has a few more we only have a few more cases to call, and then we'll start doing the hearings. Marianne, is it Ms. Kobish that has the balance? Let's get
Yes.
Ms. Smith into a breakout room with Kim Kobish, and they can go over it, and we'll be circling back to follow up with them, okay?
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, have you talked to somebody yet about that balance?
No, ma'am.
No, okay. 226116 LT Park Estates versus Heskey.
Jeremy Marks appearing on behalf of the plaintiff. I believe my client, Your Honor, just went into the breakout room just as a heads up.
I know, but do you have the balances?
I do. I didn't know if you needed my client present for that, but I'd be happy to provide that balance.
I'm here. This is Mrs. Hiskey.
Thank you. What's the rent to retain, please, Mr. Marks?
There's a current rent to retain of $1,242.18. Court costs $153.57 for a total of $1,395.75.
Ms. Hiskey, is that an accurate amount of rent due and owing?
I talked to Corey last week and submitted some documents to him about disputing the amount, and I talked to him yesterday. I was supposed to be in a breakout room this morning to find out if I have enough evidence to fulfill these agreements.
Ma'am, so the answer to my question is no.
No, you're correct.
Okay, then what we'll do is we'll get you moved into the breakout room. You saw the Park Estates just went in with someone else. We'll queue you up to go in and discuss the balance with that person, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. This is 226129 LT Park Estates versus Alan Thompson and Cammie Thompson.
Cammie Thompson here, Your Honor.
Thank you. This case was adjourned last week because Mr. Graham Mason wanted the opportunity to confirm the balance. Mr. Marks, what's the balance of rent due and owing in this matter?
I will, Your Honor, I'll need my client back in the main session for this one. I apologize.
Okay, Ms. Thompson, I'm gonna have you remute yourself, and the representative is available from Park Estates will recall the matter.
Okay.
Thank you. 224-682 LT GI&I versus Jermaine Taylor.
Good morning.
State your name, sir.
Jermaine Taylor.
Thank you. There was a stay previously entered in this case because Mr. Taylor made an application for ERAP. Mr. Morton, is there a balance that remains due and owing to your client?
Your Honor, I do apologize. I don't think I have this one on my list. Ms. Fontanella, do you have this one available to you?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
It's
Jermaine
Jermaine Taylor.
Taylor, this is 224-682 LT GI&I Harbor Club. Mr. Taylor, do you know if your ERAP was approved, sir?
No, I haven't received anything yet.
Your Honor, if we could put this
We're
one
gonna
into,
pass this matter.
if we could just put it into a breakout room, that would probably be great. And
With
then,
Ms. Fontanella and
Ms.
Mr. Taylor?
yes, please, Your Honor.
Mary Ann will take care of that. This is 226-112 LT. This is Park Estates versus Chambers.
Jeremy Marks, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Chambers?
I'm sorry, I must have spoke at the same time. Stacia Chambers.
Thank you. This case was adjourned by Mr. Graham Mason last week, Mr. Marks, because of a balance issue. Does Ms. Chambers need to go in and speak to your client, or do you have that information?
I have the current balance, and I guess we can go from there. We have a current rent to retain of $3,269.27. Core cost $152.57 for a total of $3,422.84.
Is that amount an accurate amount of past due rent, $3,269.27?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then what we'll do is we'll get you into a breakout room, discuss the balance with the representative from Park Estates. This court will be circling back to take the hearings in these matters. So please be ready to go into a breakout room and discuss the balance with the representative from Park Estates, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Levine, I'm sorry, Mr. Marks. 226-232 LT. This is Huron Estates versus Miriam Malik. It was scheduled at 9 o'clock. It's 10:24. I have not seen the defendant. What's the default amount or default request, sir?
Yes, we've moved for default in this case, Your Honor. There's a current amount due and owing of $2,005.04. Core cost $164.57 for a total of $2,169.61.
Submit that default judgment, please, for me, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is 226-233 LT Huron Estates versus Jenny Jordan, scheduled at 9 o'clock. This is defendant's second failure to appear in this case. Your default request, Mr. Marks.
We have a current rent to retain of $2,020.32. Core cost $164.54. I'll repeat, I'm sorry. Core cost at $164.57 for total balance due and owing of $2,184.89.
Thank you, sir. Submit that default for me, please. 226-243 LT Huron Estates versus Amber Cachero and Cody Curtis. This is the defendant's second failure to appear. Case was scheduled at 9 o'clock. It's 10:25 by the court's clock. Your default request, sir.
Yes, we have a current rent to retain of $2,191.89. Court cost $199.14 for a total of $2,391.03.
Thank you. Mr. Morton, 226-244 LT Amark Concord versus Talia Brown and Darnell McLaren. This matter is scheduled for 9 o'clock. It's now 10:26 by the court's clock. Defendants have failed to appear. Your default request, sir.
You're at this time, based on the defendant's failed to appear, we're asking a default judgment for possession be entered. Rents retained are $1,096. Court costs of $198 for a total of $1,294. This is a possession only action with the applicable writ date of January 30th.
Thank you, Mr. Morton. Submit that default judgment, please. This is 226245 LT. This is Country Metals versus Albert Kathy III. This is Mr. Kathy's second failure to appear. Case was scheduled at 9 o'clock. It's now 10:26 by the court's clock. Mr. Morton, your default request.
Your Honor, this is a judge, we're asking for a default judgment for possession only. Rents retained are $570.94. Court costs of $164 for a total of $734.94. And again, with a writ date of 130, excuse me.
Thank you, sir. Submit your default request, please. This is 226248 LT Country Metals versus Kimberly Laura. Miss Laura?
Yes. I'm
State
here.
your name for the Miss Laura?
Yes.
State your name for me, please.
Kimberly Laura.
Thank you. Mr. Morton, what is the rent to retain?
You're at this time, rents retained are $3,905.09. Court costs of $164 for a total of $4,069.09. That includes the month of January.
Miss Laura, is this an accurate amount of rent as that remains due owing to your
Yes, it is.
landlord? Ma'am, inasmuch as you acknowledge that that is a valid amount of rent, there is no tribal issue. In fact, and plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment with rent of $3,905.09, $164 in court costs. There will be 10 days to pay or move from the property. Do you have any questions?
No.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Thank you.
This is 226253 LT. This is Country Metals versus Brian Wood. This is Mr. Wood's second failure to appear in this matter. Mr. Morton, your default request, sir.
Your Honor, based on Mr. Wood's failure to appear, we're asking for a default judgment for possession to be entered. Rents retained are $5,005.33. Court costs of $164 for a total of $5,169.33. Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Submit your default request.
Absolutely.
This is 226255 LT. This is Country Metals versus Kenneth Yates and Melissa Yates. This is the defendant's second failure to appear in this matter. Case was scheduled at 9 o'clock. It's now 10:29 by the court's clock. Your default request, Mr. Morton.
Your Honor, at this time, rents retained are $2,817.03. Court costs of $198 for a total of $3,015.03. This is a default judgment for possession only.
Thank you, Mr. Morton. Submit your default judgment for entry. This is 226264 LT Country Metals versus Jennifer Powers and Brandon Reeby. This matter was scheduled for 9 o'clock. It's now 10:30 by the court's clock. This is defendant's second failure to appear in this matter. Your default request, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, rents retained are $2,701.15. Court costs of $198 for a total of $2,899.15. This is a default judgment for possession only, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Morton. Submit your default request for entry. This is 226313 LT. This is Holiday West versus Holiday Woods versus Gina West. This is second hearing in this matter scheduled for 9 o'clock. It's now 10:30 by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. Your default request, Mr. Morton.
You're at this time, rents retained are $1,151.01. Court costs of $164 for a total of $1,315.01.
Thank you, sir. Submit your default judgment for entry. This is 226315 LT. This is Holiday Woods versus Priyana Beaumont. This case was scheduled for 9 o'clock. It's 10:31 by the court's clock. This is defendant's second failure to appear in this matter. Your default request, Mr. Morton.
Your Honor, at this time, based on the defendant's failure to appear, we'd ask a default judgment for possession only be entered. Rents retained are $3,578.52. Court costs of $164 for a total of $3,742.52.
Thank you. Submit your default request for entry. This is 226317 LT. This is Holiday Woods versus Kendra Markle. This is the defendant's second failure to appear in this case. Case was scheduled at 9 o'clock. Is now 10:32 by this court's clock. Mr. Morton, your default request, sir.
Your Honor, based on the defendant's failure to appear, we'd ask a default judgment for possession be entered. Rents retained are $1,756.80. Court costs of $164 for a total of $1,920.80.
Thank you, sir. Submit your default judgment for entry. This is 226318 LT. This is Holiday Woods versus Rachel Gibson. Today is the second hearing on this matter. I didn't have a report from the first hearing. Mr. Morton, case was scheduled at 9 o'clock. It's 10:32 by the court's clock. Your default request, sir.
Your Honor, based on the defendant's failure to appear, we'd ask a default judgment for possession be entered. Rents retained are $1,463.10. Court costs of $164 for a total of $1,627.10.
This is 226320. Ms. Smith, have you spoken to anyone yet? This is, I can't.
She has, Judge.
She has?
Yes.
I have 3 more cases to call. I will take a short break after that, short, less than 2 minutes, and then I'll recall the contested matters. This is 226320 LT. This is Holiday Woods versus Courtney Conway. This matter was scheduled for 9 o'clock. It's now 10:34 by the court's clock. Defendant hadn't failed to appear.
Your Honor, based on the defendant's failure to appear, we'd ask a default judgment for possession be entered. Rents retained
Mr. Morton, Mr. Morton, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Morton.
No problem. We're ready, Your Honor. Tell me.
I'm ready. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Was it for Courtney Conway? Rents retained is $3,342.01. Court costs of $164 for a total of $3,506.01. And again, we'd ask a default judgment for possession be entered with the January 30th writ date.
Thank you. 226326 LT Holiday West versus Kennedy Vale. This is a defendant's second failure to appear. Case was scheduled at 9 o'clock. It's now 10:35 by the court's clock. Defendant hadn't failed to appear. Your default request, sir.
Your Honor, based on the defendant's failure to appear, we'd ask a default judgment for possession be entered. Rents retained are $997.34. Court costs of $164 for a total of $1,161.34.
Thank you, Mr. Morton. Submit your default judgment for entry. This is 226331 LT. This is Holiday West versus Krishania Thompson. This is case is scheduled at 9 o'clock. It's now 10:35 by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. Your default request, sir.
Your Honor, based on the defendant's failure to appear, we'd ask a default judgment for possession be entered. Rents retained are $2,363.40. Court costs of $164 for a total of $2,527.40.
Thank you, Mr. Morton. Submit your default judgment for entry.
Your Honor, if I may say one thing,
Sir,
was it, I know that Miss, was it Fontanella is finishing up that other case. I know the court is going to take a brief recess. If they could call that case first, because it's going to be a consent agreement, because she's just confirming the numbers.
Taylor?
Correct.
Okay. Actually, Ms. Smith's case will be called first. She's been waiting the longest. I am leaving the bench. When I say momentarily, I'm leaving right now. We'll be back in less than 3 minutes. Mr. Marks and Mr. Morton, if you would queue up, make sure that everyone's talked to the representatives, be ready to be sworn in and take testimony unless there's a conditional dismissal or a consent judgment.
Understood.
Thank you.
Kim, did you talk to Miss Hiskey yet?
I'm sorry, to who?
To Miss Hiskey?
Nope, I just got done talking with Miss Chambers.
Kim, I'll get you in a breakout room with Ms. Hiskey.
Okay, thank you.
I think they're going to call Miss Smith, or the judge is going to call Miss Smith in a couple moments. So when you're done, just hop back in.
Okay, will do. Thanks.
Thank you.
Resident's very happy.
Mr. Marks?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is a recall of 226417 LT. This is Bill Properties versus Stephanie Smith. Ms. Smith, you had the opportunity to speak to a representative from Bill Properties. You're muted, ma'am.
You're on mute?
Yes.
Okay, I never signed the lease.
She asked you a question.
What did she ask me? I didn't hear you.
Thank you. Did you speak to someone from Bill Properties?
No.
You haven't spoken to anybody from your, representing your landlord this morning?
No. We have not. We were supposed to speak to Mr. Chandler, who's supposed to be our property manager, and before that, Deontay Fields.
Your Honor, and I was given, co-host ability. I don't see my client available right now. So, unless Mary Ann sees something different, I don't see Chandler in any of the breakout rooms.
I don't
I don't
either.
see your client. This is a recall of this case. When I first called the case, I indicated that I'd be ready to take testimony in this matter at the conclusion of the other cases. I have now concluded the rest of my docket. Mr. Marks, that being the case, how are we proceeding?
Without my client, Your Honor, seeking testimony would be an impossibility. I would request a brief adjournment, I guess, at this point, in order for my client to be present in the courtroom.
Ms. Smith, what is your dispute?
My dispute is that I never signed the lease with Beal Property.
No, you did. You did.
Charles-
We signed the first lease, then we had a second lease.
I signed the lease with Mr. Marlowe. I never signed the lease with Beal Property. Charles did.
Okay, my name is Charles Williams, excuse me. I'm the other party that lives there. We're roommates. And I had to sign a lease with Deontay Fields for 6 months. The lease is coming up January 25th. We paid all the rent. The only problem is that Deontay Fields and Chandler, the other property manager, that's our property manager now that we cannot communicate with for some reason, is that the late fees, we told them, I had to work and she had to work, we was working part-time. We tried to split the payments up and they said, wait, once we pay 100% of the rent in 2 parts, that they will honor our agreement and they would take off the late fees for us because they know our financial situation. We was going through Deontay Fields. And then then they fired him. And now this Chandler, Mr. Chandler, we tried to get in contact. All our rent is paid up. It's just late fees and trumped up, and then utility fees that we don't know nothing about since December 1st. Our rent been paid since December 9th, $850. We paid another $1,000 last week, our last $1,000. I start work, and we also, for other income, we had other income, which is medical and stuff. We only could work a certain amount of hours. But when the rent went up, since they took over in 2022, we had to work part-time here and there. So we've been paying rent, and then they're not honoring Mr. Chandler. He's not honoring, saying we were supposed to sign another 2-year lease for $850, and the rent wouldn't go up after this lease. And then on top of that, we don't got no type of representation. We feel we've been robbed. If you look back at the ledgers, you can see it's saying 179 fee, another 179 fee, late fee. I don't understand it.
They're charging me $80 for utilities. They never sent me anything stating that I have to pay utilities. I pay DTE.
We never got no notice about
Notification,
utilities.
anything.
Here's the issue.
Yes.
There is a lease in the file. The lease is signed by Mid Apartments LLC. You're disputing the amount of rent claim due and owing, which is $295.46. This court is ready to take testimony. Mr. Marks has indicated that his client was here because I saw them, I called them, and my staff made every effort to get you into a breakout room to discuss the balance. Mr. Marks, if your client is not here ready to proceed, this court is prepared to dismiss this case.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor, I believe it seems as though
Look at the ledgers. Look at back.
Stop talking, please.
Yes, ma'am.
It seems as though, Your Honor, from what Mr. Williams provided to this court, that they have been making payments and that there was some kind of verbal agreement to waive late fees. But I don't know if looks like my client is back in the waiting room, Your Honor. I just saw a prompter.
Get it, man. I'm gonna have a breakdown.
Mr. Kennedy,
Yes, hello.
sir, this court needs you to speak to Mr. Williams and Ms. Smith right now. Please go
I'm
into a
here.
breakout room. Mr. Williams has indicated that there was an agreement to waive the late fees and that this 295.46 is disputed. Please talk to them. This court will call a few other matters, and when you come out, I am ready to swear you in with your camera on and take testimony. Understood?
Understood.
Thank you. This is 224682 LT. This is Harbor Club versus Taylor. Ms. Fontanella, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, if I could, I'll take the lead on this one, but because I do have the clarification. Attorney Ian Morton, Palace Law, on behalf of, the plaintiff. The parties did speak, and we've agreed to enter into proposed consent judgment. The terms are as follows. Rents retained through the month of February are $3,976. Court costs of $167. We're told $4,143.00. The payment date will be February 3rd, 2023. And the parties have agreed to enter into that proposed consent judgment, Your Honor.
Mr. Taylor, turn your video and audio on for me, please, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor, were you able to hear Mr. Morton just now?
Yes.
And sir, you wish to agree to entry of a consent judgment with a total of $4,143 that you will pay by February 3rd?
Correct.
And did Mr. Morton explain to you, or Ms. Fontanella explain to you, that because you're not represented, that judgment will not be final and enforceable for 3 days?
Yes, ma'am.
And because you appear on Zoom, there's not a signed judgment in the file. Have you authorized the plaintiff's attorney to sign your name to that consent judgment?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Taylor?
Not at all.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Morton's office will submit that consent judgment for entry. The court will sign same and mail copy to you at the address we have on file, okay?
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you, sir. This is a recall of 2262280T Bill versus Johnson and Johnson.
Hi, yes, I never even spoke with no one in the break room. They just sent me back here.
Mr. Kennedy is back. I'm not sure what happened previously.
I've been sitting in the break room. I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm
No,
sorry.
ma'am, Ms. Johnson, I saw the breakout room. I saw you sitting there by yourself. I'm not sure why the representative did not speak to the few cases that they had to speak to this morning. He is here. There's one other matter pending. I am going to call the rest of the contested matters and I'll circle back to you. If you see an invitation to go into a breakout room with Mr. Kennedy, please go there with him, okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. 226124 Park Estates versus Smith. Ms. Kovish, did you have an opportunity to speak to Ms. Smith about this balance?
Yes, I did, and she will be paying the balance on Monday when she's back in town.
Ms. Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
do you now agree that the past due rent claim due and owing of $2,338.16 is accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, you will be able to pay that before the statutory 10 days, which is January 30th?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're gonna give me a couple more days. So in case I'm over the road semi driver. So I try to get up there. I got a house, the mobile home up there, and I got a home down here in Kentucky.
Understood, ma'am. In as much as you agree that that is an accurate amount of rent due and owing, the court will enter the judgment after hearing that allows for that payment on or before January 30th.
Thank you,
Any
ma'am.
questions, Ms. Smith?
No, so I do owe $2,338.16, right, ma'am?
And then, no, there's the $153.57 in court costs. So it'll be a total of $2,491.73. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Good luck to
Okay.
you. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
226116 LT, Park Estates versus Hiskey. Ma'am, did you have a chance to speak to the representative about the balance due and owing?
Yes, I spoke with Miss Hiskey.
Oh, I'm asking Ms. Hiskey.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
And ma'am, do you still dispute that there is $1,242.18 in rent due and owing?
Yes. Kim and I came to an agreement, though.
What is that agreement?
Hello?
She's gonna talk to her her boss and waiving the fees, and I'm gonna bring in $1,000 tomorrow.
$1,000 is all that's due?
Before the
Let's,
court cost.
I'm sorry, Mr. Marks,
I'm going to interrupt. I try not to do that, but I'm going to interrupt. If there is a potential settlement in the works, I would suggest, Ms. Kobish, that we adjourn this and potentially enter into a conditional dismissal, and we can do settlement terms off the record.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
Ms. Hiskey, we'll put you over to February 7th, 2023 at 11 a.m. back on Zoom. If you're able to reduce your agreement in writing with the plaintiff's attorney, they'll get it signed, you'll sign it, they'll send it over to the court for entry, and you won't need to reappear on the 7th, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
226129 LT Park Estates versus Cammie Thompson. Ms. Thompson, you've had the opportunity to speak to Ms. Kobish regarding your balance?
No, I have not today, Your Honor.
Ma'am, I have been, or Judge, I've been trying to get her in there and it's unsuccessful. The same with Ms. Chambers.
Come on, man.
Ms. Thompson,
Yes.
this is the second week in a row that you've appeared on my docket smoking. Last week, I asked you repeatedly to stop smoking. This is court. I need you to stop smoking for long enough for me to do this docket. Ms.
I got
Chambers and Ms. Thompson, Ms. Chambers and Ms. Thompson, you'll see invitations to go into the breakout room to talk to Ms. Kobish. Please go there so we can make some progress on these matters.
Judge, I've spoken with Ms. Kobish. This is Stacia Chambers. We did speak.
Didn't you just say, Marianne, that you haven't been able to get them in there?
Yes, I was trying to get, I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a resolution of this
apologize.
matter? 226112.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Station Chambers.
What is the resolution?
We have come into agreement for the amount of $2,269.27.
And then we'll do a payment agreement like we did, Mr. Marks, with Ms. Hisk, because we're gonna do a
I'm
payment.
sorry, Ms. Kobish, had you relayed that information to Mr. Marks?
He wasn't in the breakout room.
Well,
he
let's
was-
adjourn this one, Your Honor, just like the other one, and we'll get the terms in a conditional dismissal and resolve the case.
Ms. Chambers, do you understand?
No, ma'am, not exactly.
Not exactly.
No, I do not. I don't understand. What will
settlement-
happen from here?
No, yeah, the settlement that you may have discussed with Ms. Kobish was not relayed to the attorney, so he wants an adjournment to allow time to reduce the settlement to writing. My next date will be February 7th at 11 a.m. back on Zoom. If you resolve it by before then with a signed document, you won't need to reappear, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You're free to go. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Can I talk to Mr. Chandler again? I was cut off.
Mr. Chandler is not here.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Chandler hung up on us. Look, he made it, he said that he was gonna take off $50 or something like that for
This
last
is
month.
226, this is 226417, Bill versus Smith.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Hello, Mr. Marks. Oh. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello?
I'm here.
Yes,
I'm not sure where your client went. Mr. Marks, do you
don't.
have any idea what's going on, sir?
We got cut off.
Your client is not here. This is probably the fourth time I've called this case. I'm ready to proceed. Ms. Smith and Mr. Williams, I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, I don't think you're even listed on the complaint. It's all other occupants.
I'm trying to contact my client, Your Honor. It seems like he might be having technical difficulties or something. I'm emailing him right now.
No.
God.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
first time this case was called, the attorney indicated there's $295.46 in rent, $164.57 in court costs, for a total of $460.03. Do you admit or do you dispute this amount?
We disputed it because the property manager just said he was gonna take off late fee from this month that we just paid him. We just paid
That's
him
not a dispute.
$1,000.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Mr. Marks?
That's not a dispute.
No, I know it's not a dispute, Mr. Marks. Mr. Marks, your property manager Chandler just told us just now that he's willing to take off 50
But
bucks.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, the settlement negotiations are something that this court's not part of.
Oh, okay, right. So yes.
The
then
question before you is,
295.
are you disputing?
No, we're not disputing it. The 295, it's $295, $295.
If you are not disputing these amounts, there's not a tribal issue before this court, and the plaintiff is entitled to entry of judgment,
So
which is what I said the very first time this case was called.
but we that's what we just spoke to Chandler and we went through whatever with him and he was like, he was gonna take off this and this and this. So she was disputing it, right? We was disputing because our ledger is monies that we paid them before, but we're not disputing this. We wanna come to a resolution. We wanna pay them, but we don't wanna get hit with the late fee.
Your Honor, I will resolve this by saying we will remove the one late charge from January 5th. Is that what Chandler told you?
That's what he just told me, yes.
Okay, so instead of, I think this should resolve it. So instead of $295.46 in past due rent, we will go to $245.46 in past due rent. So
And-
$50 less. Is that okay?
So, and what's
Yeah.
the total gonna be and how much time do I have to pay it?
It's going to be $245.46 of rent. Court costs at $164.57 for a total of $410.03.
Okay, and I have 10 business days to pay that?
You have to pay that by January 30th, 2023.
We don't get a check. She don't get a check to the first and I just
I
start working.
received Social Security. My rent was $675. It went up to $895. The
See?
rent is more than my check.
I just got over my connectivity issues and back here.
Chandler, just to give you a heads up, I got your email. We're waiving the January 5th late fee. So
Okay.
the
Yes.
total balance due and owing is $255.46. No, I'm sorry, $245.46. Cost at $164.57 for a total of $410.03.
Looking
Okay.
at their, I have a different number.
You have a different number because your ledger has the incorrect cost. This is correct.
Okay, understood.
So, February 3rd,
No, January 30th.
January 30th, we can't, how's it gonna do it on January 30th? And I don't get a check to the 3rd. I don't have a check, I don't get my Social Security check to the 3rd, and I start working Monday, the
Need a payment
23rd.
plan.
So can we get a payment
Chandler,
plan?
can you give them to the February 3rd, 2023 to pay this?
I can only give them until that date if they can include February rent in that payment.
If I could include February rent in that payment.
So we have to add the amount for February rent if you plan on paying on the 3rd.
That's what I'm saying, man. Look, you guys gotta work with us, man. I'm trying to work
This
with
is
y'all.
Mr. Williams. I apologize. There was connectivity issues, things like that. This is we're on the record, and negotiations before the judge is not appropriate.
Right, I understand. So the judge, you can't give us no more time.
I can't speak for the judge. My client's position right now is the 30th, unless you can pay everything.
You said on February 3rd. He just said by February 3rd and February 3rd rent, right? Okay. At 850, right?
February 3rd to pay. Mr. Mark's office will submit a judgment with those terms, Mr. Williams and Ms. Smith. Anything else?
Thank you, Your Honor.
So what's the total?
Anything else? It's 4/10/03 for what's due through today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Yeah.
Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, have you spoken with someone from?
No, still no.
You haven't spoken to Mr. Kennedy?
No, I haven't spoken to
He's
no
right-
one, man. Somebody
he's right
invited me
here.
now.
That's my secretary trying to get you to go, or maybe Mr. Marks trying to get you to go talk to Mr. Kennedy. Don't be gone for long, because I only have one other case to call.
Joining the room now.
Thank you. Cammy Thompson? Did you speak to Ms. Kobish?
Yes.
Is there a resolution, Ms. Kobish?
Yes, I will talk to Mr. Marks about the payment plan.
Your Honor, we request the same February 7th at 11 o'clock in the morning, adjournment date.
Thank you. Ms. Kobish, I'm sorry, Ms. Thompson, what's going to happen is that the attorney's office is going to reach out to you to execute a settlement or confirm the settlement that you're reaching with Ms. Kobish. They'll submit it to the court for entry. If you're unable to resolve it before that date, you'll be back here on February 7th at 11 a.m. back on Zoom, okay?
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good day. Mr. Marks, Mary Ann is going to move you into a breakout room, okay? By yourself, with her.
I'm sorry.
With my secretary, Mary Ann, is going to move you into a breakout room to talk to her, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hello, we're back from the breakout.
Ms. Johnson, Mr. Kennedy, you had an opportunity to speak.
Yes, we did.
Mr. Marks will be back momentarily.
Great.
Marianne, this is truly the last case.
I always worry
Sorry about
when you say.
Mr. Kennedy, don't apologize for technology. Even though this took 2 hours, it still is, you know, preferable to driving and sitting and waiting and then driving back.
That is very true.
Mr. Marks, this is a recall of your last case, 226228 LT. Ms. Johnson and Mr. Kennedy have had a chance to speak. Mr. Kennedy, were you able to convey to, oh, what happened to Ms.
Yep,
Johnson?
I don't know why she popped back in there. I'm closing the rooms.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, do you need to speak to Mr. Marks?
I do not believe I do.
Okay. Ms. Johnson, you were able to speak to Mr. Kennedy?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. You were able to speak to Mr. Kennedy?
He spoke to me, but he kind of like cut off. I didn't understand what he said. He sent me right back here.
We were unable to do an agreement, and so that's why we ended the breakout room.
No, sir, I was talking with you. It wasn't that we was unable to come to agreement. You sent me back here.
He gave
This is my
us,
daughter.
he gave us a date saying February 3rd.
No,
She
I did
asked
not.
us- Yes,
No, I
you
did
did.
Stop. No, ma'am. No.
He-
That's not how this works.
Right.
This is how this works, because this is the last case and we're prepared to take testimony.
Okay.
Mr. Marks came on this morning and said the balance due and owing is $7,429.18. When I asked you about it, you start saying that your other tenant had moved out of the properties and you were disputing
Yes.
the balance. Do you
Yes.
dispute that? I can talk or you can talk, Ms. Johnson. We both can't talk at the same time.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
No, it's okay. Are you disputing that $7,429.18 in rent is due and owing?
Yes, I don't owe that much.
Do you have your documents to take testimony this morning to show that the balance is different than that amount?
When you say documents, what do you mean, ma'am? I'm sorry.
No. What'll happen is Mr. Kennedy will turn on his camera. I will swear him
Ma'am,
in.
we
and
don't
I'm
have
sure
to-
he- What did she wanted to say that required her to interrupt me?
We didn't get a
She's
lease.
sorry.
Sorry, I'm sorry. We didn't get a
No,
lease.
no. It's sorry when you do it once, but this is now 3 times in the span of less than 2 minutes.
Okay.
So please. No, ma'am, no, go back to her and let her say what she had to say.
I didn't want to be on camera. I was trying to say, we didn't have a lease with the new rent amount or a rent agreement or none of that. So we don't have any documents to say that. We called and tried to communicate for documents, but just like they're not communicating now, they didn't communicate then. We don't have anything.
Okay, where we are right now is I am prepared to swear everybody in. Mr. Kennedy will produce a ledger. Mr. Marks will take testimony from him. You'll get the opportunity to cross-examine him. Are you prepared to proceed with that this morning?
Yes.
Mr. Marks?
Chandler, will you please say your name for the record?
I'm sorry. Mr. Kennedy, would you turn your video on for me, please, sir? Raise your right
Chandler
hand.
Kennedy.
Do you swear, raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chandler. Can you please, can you please say where you're employed?
I'm employed at Beal Properties LLC, property manager.
What is, you said you're a property manager? You're breaking up, so maybe talk closer into the microphone, please.
Yeah, I am a property manager for Beal Properties LLC.
Thank you. In your position as property manager, are you familiar with the books and records as it relates to Sanjanik Johnson and Tashua Johnson, located at 6339 Middle Belt Road, number 7, Romulus, Michigan, 48174?
Yes, I am.
Are you familiar with the lease, the current lease that was entered into between Beal Properties and Ms. Johnson?
Yes, I am.
What is the current amount? Did both parties sign? I'm sorry. The lease is between Mid Apartments and the tenants. Can you please provide your relationship with Mid Apartments? I apologize.
Yes, I'm the property manager for the Middle Belt Apartment in Romulus.
And how is Beal related to Mid Apartments? Are they the do they manage Mid Apartments?
Yes, we manage the Mid Apartment.
Okay. What is the current rent due and owing?
The current rent due and owing is $7,400.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm really sorry about that. The monthly amount of rent due and owing. I apologize.
Every month, their rent charge is $895.
Are there any other charges that they pay to you pursuant to the lease?
Yes, there are some utility charges, and I can detail those out as well.
Please.
All right. The first one is 1/24th. We have 24 tenants on the property. 1/24th of the garbage bill, 1/24th of the gas bill. The gas used would be for the laundry and the common areas, and 1/24th of the water and sewerage bill.
Were those fees assessed to the defendants in this case?
Yes, they were.
Oh, are there any other charges that are assessed to this balance?
There are late charges.
And what are those?
Those are $50 every month that the rent has been late, going back to June of 2022.
When is it considered late?
The rent is considered late on the 5th or 6th of the month, depending on when the weekend falls.
Okay. Now, is this account currently in arrears?
Yes, it is.
What is the current amount of rent past due, inclusive of court costs? Not inclusive of court costs, inclusive of the fees that you previously discussed. What is the total balance due and owing?
$7,429.18.
Are there court costs at $199.14?
I am not currently seeing court costs charged on their ledger. No,
I got to test you that that's the case, but that is it. So that would be a balance of $7,628.32. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
To your knowledge, are either of the defendants minors in the military or incompetent?
To my knowledge, no.
Has the property been kept fit for its intended use by Beal Properties?
Yes, it has.
Do you have any indication or notice that either of the defendants have applied for SARA assistance?
I do not, other than the fact that they have been previously approved and awarded SARA payments.
Nothing currently pending?
Nothing currently pending, back in April.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chandler.
Ms. Johnson, do you have any questions for Mr. Kennedy? This is not your testimony. This is questions you have for him regarding the things he just testified to.
I still haven't seen no new lease or nothing signed. But the last person I signed a lease with was Milo. That was 2000. I moved in here, 2021. That was the last lease I seen to sign, and my rent was only $750, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Kennedy, no, don't respond to that. Ms. Johnson, what I'm saying to you is if you have questions for Mr. Kennedy, if you have specific questions to him, because what you just did was a statement, which I'll swear you in and you'll be able to give your testimony. But do you have questions for him?
Yes, I just want to know where's the new lease? Where's the lease that I'm supposed to sign with Bill Property?
I can issue a new lease as soon as balance pay off in full.
So can I ask you another question, Mr. Kennedy? Okay, my daughter. Okay, I'm sorry. My daughter was supposed to have been off that lease. Why was she still on there? She don't know. She don't live with me. She haven't lived with me in months.
Yep. So she's on the original lease. As soon as we get this balance paid a new lease, we can take her off of that new lease. But
Come closer to the microphone, Chandler. You're breaking up. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So to reiterate, as soon as we get this balance of $1,429.18 paid off in full, we can issue you a new lease, you alone a new lease without your daughter on that.
Okay, I just filed my taxes. Well, how long is you giving me to make that payment? And I did an SCR.
I would like for this payment to be made today, if possible.
Today? I don't have it today, sir.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Kennedy, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, I just have just a couple of questions, Mr. Marks, if you don't mind. The lease attached to the file, Mr. Kennedy, is dated April 1st of 2021. Is it your testimony that there's not a more recent lease than that?
It's not. I have not.
Ma'am, I'm not at, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Asking you. I'm asking. No, I said, Mr. Kennedy, you're fine, but please. Mr. Kennedy, is there more?
That is the only lease that we have.
The reason I'm asking is that that lease says that the rent is $800 per month, and your testimony was that it's $895.
Yes, that lease had ended, pushing the tenants to a month-to-month term. And we notified them in advance that we're increasing it to 85, before that previously ended.
You notified them that the rent would increase?
No.
Yeah.
And do you have a copy of that notice to the tenants?
I'm not on hand, but I'm sure I could find it, yes.
Now is the time. This is the trial.
Understood.
Okay. And then the lease
Your Honor,
speaks to utilities, but it doesn't address the 124th. Is that something else that was in a writing to the tenants?
Yes, and I am looking in their account right for that notice. But if I can't find it, they still owe $500.
Mr. Marks, was there something else?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. I appreciate your questions. I don't know, Ms. Johnson did not question that in her. So if we can, I guess, maybe take a short recess to give Mr. Kennedy time okay, no, okay.
Mr. Marks, I only asked for clarity. I'm not trying to upset the apple cart here. I'm always shocked to see a lease, which I appreciate, but I don't see it often. Did you have any other questions for your client, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Any other
I just hope we
witnesses,
can
sir?
get that for you. No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Johnson, would you like to testify this morning regarding your defense?
Yes.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your testimony?
Ma'am, I never received a second lease, and like I said, I didn't even know nothing about my rent being $895 a month. I talked to, I talked to the only property manager I ever spoke to, it came to my door and met with me was Dante. I don't know where this man at. I haven't heard nothing from him. I have been leaving messages with him. I don't know what's going on with that. Nobody here but me and my little daughter. I have a little elementary daughter. My oldest daughter just came here to be in court because I talked to a legal aid person last week, and she told me it was best for my daughter to be there with her paperwork showing that she had been moved. I just don't see
Anything
how I
else?
owe 7,000, ma'am.
What is your monthly rent?
My monthly rent when I moved in here was $750.
How much rent was due for January of this year, 2023?
I don't know.
When was the last time you paid rent?
Last time I paid rent was like, was it like August?
I don't know, I wasn't here.
Ms. Johnson, is it your testimony that you don't know how much your rent is?
Ma'am, yeah, my testimony is my last thing that I know about my rent, ma'am. I was paying $750 and the late fee was $50, which was $800 if I was late. That was with Mr. Milo, ma'am. I didn't know nothing about this. The new property manager, this guy that's on here, Mr. Chandler, I no disrespect, but I never even met him at all. I didn't even know nothing about none of that. Only person I met was Dante. The only person knocked on my door was Dante, and he just came in to look at my apartment because it's a leakage that leaks downstairs from my shower. And that was the only way I met him. Nobody even said nothing to me about no rent, no new lease. I have not received that. Only lease I have is the old lease that I first got when I first moved in here.
Anything else, ma'am?
No.
Is there anything that the other Ms. Johnson would like to testify to this morning?
You want to say something?
Before we come to you, I just asked, was there something you wanted to say, ma'am?
As far as
No. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am.
Yes.
Is there something else you want to say? It's just a yes or no question.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, one moment. Mr. Marks, do you have any questions for Ms. Johnson?
Yes, Ms. Johnson, did you sign a rental agreement on April 1st, 2021?
Yes, that was with Mr. Milo.
Okay.
No, turn back to the other Ms. Johnson.
You indicated in your testimony to this court that you thought rent was $750. The lease that was attached to this complaint indicates rent at the time was $800.
Because that's what I just said. It was $750, and he had the $50 for the late fee because I wasn't able to pay my rent to the 5th.
No, well, number one of the rental agreement says rent. Lessee agrees to pay without demand to the lessor as rent for the demised premises the sum of $800 per month. And we can go forward from there. But it wasn't $750 plus late fees. It was $800.
Oh, it was $800. Oh, but it's still when I moved in and when I found this place, I found the X. He told me it was $750. Milo explained to me, he said, just because I cannot pay my rent, and I was paying my rent, I had to break my rent down at first to pay it every 2 weeks, but just because I couldn't pay it on time, he added that. He told me that my stuff was going to be $800 because of the late.
Thank you. I don't need all of that.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
But it seems to me that there definitely is some confusion as to what you owe. Is it possible that do you receive correspondence from Beal Properties for things, since you've been living there?
I have not received nothing from Beal Properties. I haven't met no one. The only person I met,
I'm not asking if you met anyone. I'm not asking if you met anyone. I'm just asking.
I'm sorry.
Do you receive any kind of correspondence from Beal Properties?
No.
You've never received anything from Beal Properties?
No, I haven't. Not a letter or anything.
Okay. Nothing more at this time.
Thank you. Tasha Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to say, ma'am?
No.
Okay, to the other, Ms. Johnson, are you ready to give your testimony?
No, she said I said it. She was talking about the lease.
Thank you. Any other witnesses, Ms. Johnson?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Marks, anything else?
If I may, Chandler, were you able to locate that correspondence that you indicated that you sent to Ms. Johnson for the rental increase to $895?
Unfortunately, I was not able to find it. But seeing as it's the difference between 800 and 895 would bring the balance from 7,000 to 6,000. I really don't want to squabble over that. We'd be happy.
Well,
to see
let's see
$6,000.
let's see what the judge has to say.
That's what I
It's
was.
your word. Yeah, be under oath. It was your word against Ms. Johnson's.
Yeah.
But we'll let the judge. And I guess I'm just recalling you, Mr. Kennedy. Do you have anything else to add at this point? It seems like we established that there is a current lease between the parties that is now currently month to month. But would you attest to the balance that we indicated is due and owing?
Yes, yeah, because I've been assured that we posted multiple notices to their door, stating that.
Okay, thank you very much. Nothing further on. I didn't want to get into settlement negotiations again on the record. Thank you.
Understood. So this was a simple, I say simple, sorry, Mary Ann. This case is a non-payment of rent case. The complaint received in this matter sets forth rent due and owing from, it will be June 2022 which was 8 months ago. Mr. Marks, my questions to Ms. Johnson were based on the fact that the complaint lists a rental rate of $895 and the lease attached there too references $800. If there's been an increase in rent, typically attached to the complaint is a letter amending that amount even after the expiration of the lease. For that reason, the court will find that plaintiff is entitled to possession of the property, but the court will set the rental rate at the amount that's on the signed document that the parties agree to. That's $800 per month. And if that is an accurate amount with 8 months of rent past due and owing, that's $6,400 in past due rent. The lease also calls for a $50 a month late fee. That's $400 in late fees, so $6,800 between the rent and the late fees. The lease also calls for the defendant tenants to pay utilities in this case. The plaintiff shall be entitled to entry of judgment that contains the rental rate just discussed, the late fees just discussed, and utilities as provided in the lease, which makes Ms. Johnson and Ms. Johnson responsible for all the utilities except for the water. Mr. Marks will submit a judgment that sets that total amount due and owing inclusive of rent, late fees, and the utilities from June 1st forward. Mr. Marks' office will submit that electronically. The court will sign it and copies will be mailed to the parties at their addresses that appear in the court file.
Your Honor, did you
Ms.
come?
Johnson,
I apologize.
Ms.
Did you say a balance? Or do you need me to calculate it? I'm sorry.
I need you to calculate that because Mr. Kennedy's testimony is utilities as 1/24 of the total. And the lease doesn't give a dollar amount, and I'm sure it fluctuates. So the court doesn't have that information. The court just has the complaint and the lease. So Mr. Kennedy would have to provide that information.
So we're going to do.
Have it.
Yeah, Chandler, if you don't mind, Your Honor, let's just do this now so I can draft and get this done. So Your Honor, just so we're clear, we're doing $6,400 in rent. Is that correct, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
And then $400 in late fees.
Yes, sir.
And Chandler, we need a please calculate for the record utilities without water.
Yep. So we've got a total of 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 monthly bills going back to May of 2022. And I'm just going to go ahead. They're all under $10. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these up really quick. On average, they were $9.70 each, and the total amount for utilities owed right now is $76.18.
And that's not inclusive of water?
That does not include water, no.
Okay, so Your Honor, I will draft a judgment for $6,800. But I'll draft a judgment. I won't do the math on the record. I'll draft a judgment for $76.18 for utilities with the other two balances that we previously discussed, and I'll submit it for the under hearing. Thank you.
So the judgment is $6,876.18. Plaintiff is entitled to $199.14 in court cost. $7,075.32 will be the judgment in favor of plaintiff and against the defendants after hearing. Anything else, Ms. Johnson?
Yes, I was telling him I had let them know that I did file my taxes. I get them back on the 15th in full. I could pay that all in full.
Ms. Johnson, you've heard the court say repeatedly this morning that the court does not get involved in the payment plans that parties reach between themselves.
Okay, I'm
So
sorry.
if you are able to negotiate something with your property management company,
I'm
they'll relay
sorry.
that information to their attorney. No, don't apologize, ma'am. This is anything else.
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Marks, submit that judgment. Mr. Kennedy, thank you for your persistence with the technology. Have a good day, sir.
Of course, thank you. You as well, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Have a good day, Mr. Marks.
You too.
Ma'am, am I supposed to still be here?
No, ma'am, you can go on about your day. Take care.
Okay, I didn't understand the judgment, ma'am.
What didn't you understand?
How long did he say, the
judgment will say January 30th.
Okay,
And I was saying for payment arrangements, you need to speak directly to your property manager about that.
okay, I could call and talk to him, which is
Correct.
Mr. Chandler.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you much.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.